Hey everybody, what's up? This is Hollywood 97. I'm your host, the X-Man.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Rand Proxy.
Random Magic.
Reaper.
And this week we got a special guest star. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Ray. What's up?
Alright, and today's movie we're talking about is DreamWorks' first animated picture, 1998's Prince of Egypt. How do you guys felt about the movie?
I really liked it. It was really good. It wasn't my first time seeing the film, but it was like the first time in a long time. So it was like a pretty big refresher for me. But yeah, it's a lot better than I remember it being.
Same. I
Uh,
thought the animation
I
was
thought,
solid, especially for.
I haven't seen the movie since I was a kid, and I vaguely remember it. But yeah,
Mhm.
it was better than I was thinking that it was gonna be when I had to watch it again.
Yeah, like I remember like the first time I saw it was like at my grandma's place, and we actually watched it. I think I watched it on like VHS.
Hmm.
So like yeah, it was like that just goes to show how long ago it was.
Mm.
Like it was still like when VHS was kind of relevant.
Right.
So like I
I
was like
thought
a
the
really
animation was really good,
Oh,
especially
we
for how long
also
ago it
have
was.
Ray here is also our resident Prince of Egypt fan. So why don't you tell us about the movie?
Well, I personally believe this is the best animated movie of all time ever made because I have yet to find any issue with the story.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to find any issue with the music. I have yet to find any actual animation issues. Everything else is just of the time they couldn't do anything about it, but it's beautiful as Reaper was saying. The animation is perfect and it's one of the best movies, if not the best movies I've ever seen.
I would say my favorite part about this movie is easily how this could easily be like a Christian movie. And a lot of
Well,
movies
I mean,
like this would just shove religion in your face, and I love that they just keep religion out of it.
this is this is based on the Book of Exodus from the Bible.
It is,
yeah.
Oh, it
yes.
is. Yes.
That is which is the second most famous story from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I
Exodus has
mean,
always been my favorite Bible story. I'm not religious now, but when I was, I loved this movie and I still do because it's not constantly shoving God down your throat like a lot of things
It's
nowadays.
never shoving God down your throat, ever.
Hmm.
what's interesting about this movie, because there's also 1956, The Ten Commandments,
Mm-hmm.
and with Charlton Heston, and and I grew up watching that one, and when I was about to watch the movie, I was thinking a lot of this is gonna be just like the Ten Commandments, like because the Ten Commandments visually is such an iconic movie, so it seemed like it would capture some of the visuals of it. But I was genuinely surprised how little of the Ten Commandments that you see from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
as if they totally gloss over it at the very end.
Like,
Yeah.
my hot take though, I think this had better music, better music than Disney did at the time during the 90s.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I really felt like the music was a little bit more organic.
Mm. I do
Uh,
want to say this though. I felt like like the BGM, like the actual music was good.
Hmm.
As far as the actual songs themselves, like actual like songs, like outside of like the very first one, most of them did not click with me them too much personally. But
That's true.
uh,
that was just me.
I have to, yeah, I have to agree with Phantom here. Just, well, not entirely. There were only three songs that stuck out to me. Two, actually, that really stuck out to me. Deliver Us,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
and Let My People Go. Those were the two songs that really stood out to me. There was also Heaven's Eyes, which I thought was really good as well. The other songs I didn't think were bad. They just didn't stick out to me.
Hmm.
What
I,
What about the one with the father with her father? I actually kind of like that one.
That
Uh,
is Heaven's Eyes.
yeah, that's Heaven's Eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't.
That song has honestly, I think everyone should listen to that song at some point in their life, even if they
Mhm.
don't want to watch the movie, because that song has the potential to change your life. The message of it is so beautiful. You can't just look at yourself and go, man, I suck compared to all these people. You have to look at yourself from, as he says, heaven's eyes, instead
Right.
of, you know, instead of just like hating yourself because you don't think you've accomplished anything. You have to look at yourself from what you have accomplished. But yeah.
Wait, that was
Mhm.
actually really good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really.
Yeah.
The one song that kind of stuck out, I thought was kind of a weird song with the one with the two servants played by Martin Short and Steve Martin, and like
Big Boys Now.
yeah, it started. I kind of like how it started, and then I was like, oh man, Martin Short and Steve Martin are gonna sing.
Yeah, no, I like
Like
I like the visuals in that song. Like I thought
Yeah.
the visuals were
Yeah.
really cool, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the song itself is just like not very interesting.
I think
It is
like
technically supposed to be the song for the villains because the two priests are the villains of the movie when you think of it. So it's not supposed to be an amazing, memorable song. All you're supposed to remember is, man, these guys kind of suck. They're kind
I
of
think
like slimy and
Yeah,
snake-like.
but like I mean, in like other like animated films, like Disney films, especially like the villain songs are usually like some of the best songs. That's why I just
Look
like
at the
Yeah.
Lion
Oh, yeah,
King.
like
Be
Lion
prepared.
King.
The Bird, Hell's
Like, I
Fire.
personally
on
love
the
The
other
Little
side.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oogie Boogie, like there's so many like there's so many good like villain songs. That's why it's just like
Yeah,
I
like
mean, a villain song is kind of forgettable. It's I don't know. It's just for me. It's like a bit of a letdown just because like villain songs are usually just like some of the best songs.
I don't think it was like a
Actually-
bad. I don't think it was a bad song. I just think it was like it didn't stick out to me. But go ahead,
Yeah.
X.
Actually, you know what it reminds me so much of? Apparently, in the sequel to Aladdin, that parrot Gilbert Gottfried played, he gets a song, and that kind of what it just reminded me of, and I was like, oh yeah, because those are the voice I want to hear put to music, like
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, because that's the voice I want to hear. Right.
Oh
To be
man.
fair, this movie technically doesn't have a villain, and I really love the choice of not having a villain in this movie. Instead,
Yeah.
it's just people
I think
trying to get through their beliefs, and instead of just, oh, there's this one big bad who's controlling everything,
Mhm.
and God has to save the day. It's
think
Yeah. No.
someone has been influenced to be this way, and it's not his fault.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
he's been taught to be this way.
I
Because even
And
because like even like Moses himself is not really like portrayed as a complete hero. Like
mhm.
like God does like terrible things to the people of Egypt
Mhm.
to try to get them to free his people. And even Moses knows that like even Moses doesn't want this. Like he clearly doesn't want to hurt all these people, but like he can't really control God. He's just doing what God is telling him to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
So
think
in a
what
way,
makes
he's kind of like not really a hero. Like not really painted as the hero himself.
I think what makes this movie stronger, like story, like character wise, than the Ten Commandments is that they focus more on the relationship between Ramesses and Moses.
Yes.
Because, like you said, even
Yes.
though this movie doesn't have a clear hero or villain in the original Ten Commandment, they went out to make Ramesses the main bad guy.
Mhm.
Like they don't really like. It's weird in the Ten Commandments because they don't like, even though Moses and Ramesses grew up together, they don't really make that connection that they're brothers throughout the whole movie. I think I think them focusing on their relationship to each other what makes this movie a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And okay, I just really want to talk about, now that Phantom's talked about Moses, I want to talk about Ramses. I loved Ramses in this movie. Ramses was my favorite. I love what they did with him. What I love so much about him, and like you said, Ray, is it's not even his fault. He was influenced to do that by his father because his father was so hard on him. His father was very strict. His father was very strict with him, a lot stricter than Moses. A lot stricter with him than Moses. In fact, he wasn't even that strict with Moses. Hell, even Moses said, "Hey, you might wanna, calm down with Ramesses. I mean, he's trying his best." But the thing with but what what their father got into Ramesses' head is his best just isn't enough. So now what he needs to do is not only be exactly like his not only be exactly like his father, but push forward what his father was doing in terms of enslaving Moses' people. So it's like I really thought that was awesome. Like just what they did with Ramesses there, because I can't help but feel so sorry for him too, especially by the end, because by the end he's lost everything, just everything. So I can't help but feel so sorry for him.
Yeah, I think so one of my favorite parts in the movie is when they allude to a previous scene. This has to do with like Ramses and his father. So it's the part where his father tells him that all it takes is one weak link to take down a dynasty, and Ramses storms out of the room. And then when Moses comes back after running away, you see a mirror of this scene. He's talking to Ramses. You can see Ramses' father's statue behind him, and then his own statue. So it's like you literally see that his father is between him. His father is a part of him, and after that he storms out of the room just like he did before, and he says, "I will not be the weak link."
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so beautiful. I'm getting chills right now thinking of it.
Yeah.
This movie pays so much attention to detail, and I wish movies weren't cash grab garbage machines anymore. I wish we could just go back to these beautiful passion projects.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Because
kind
even with Joseph King of Dreams, they were just trying to cash grab off of Prince of Egypt and how good that movie was. But they lost the beauty of Prince of Egypt because they were just trying to recreate it in a less beautiful way.
Well, that's kind of what I want to bring up is the history of this movie and like just the formation of DreamWorks in general. Because like, did you know DreamWorks Animation was started by Jeffrey Katzenberg? Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was a former head of Disney Animation and well-known petty asshole.
Yes, well-known petty asshole. I was about to say.
Yeah, and it's well known that whether he either got fired or he left Disney on his own accord. We don't know, but like
I'm pretty sure he like left on a hissy fit because Disney wouldn't make Shrek.
right.
I think
It was
I'm
yeah, and then it was just like and like even though it was a good movie, Prince of Egypt, I'm not knocking it down. It's just like when it's just like it's so even though it's not a Disney film, it's so trying to capture that Disney like style, that Disney formula, because like he wanted like an Academy Award winning Disney movie. Like he tried to do that with Pocahontas, but it didn't work out. But like you can see that like Katzenberg so wanted that Academy Award for Prince of Egypt.
Back on Academy Awards, so The Prince of Egypt actually won the best music, like best original song.
Oh, really?
I don't agree what song won, because When You Believe, like, there can be miracles when you believe. That is my least favorite song of the movie. and it should be. You would think it would be the best. Like, it is a powerful song, but it's just. I
I
think they made it sound too Christmassy.
I thought it
Hmm.
would be Deliver Us.
Great. I know. Deliver Us is so
it,
powerful.
it
I think they forget that it's not two songs because Deliver Us kind of just breaks into the lullaby
yeah
and then goes back to Deliver Us at the end. And
yeah
it's
yeah.
it's so powerful. It is the perfect way to start the movie. I just wish they would have had a slightly more powerful song to end it. Cause When You Believe is still a good song. But yeah.
Well, I am gonna say this about the Academy Awards right there. I feel like it should have been one of two songs actually to Deliver Us, which is the song that that everyone can agree with is probably the best, or at least most people can agree is probably the best. But I feel like another really good pick would have been Let My People Go.
Oh yeah.
That's another very
That
powerful
song is
song.
so beautiful.
Now,
And it's not even just like the music that's playing, it's the visuals you see while the music is playing. You
yes,
see
yeah.
Egypt falling apart. And one thing I told Ran about this before, but they pay so much attention to detail and they had Egypt represented by blue and the Hebrews represented by red.
Yeah, noticed
So
that.
you see Moses lit up in red and Ramses lit up in blue while they're just arguing, not really arguing, while they're just asking why to each other in this song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, you were my
Yeah.
brother, why are you betraying me? You are my brother, why aren't you letting my people go? It's so beautiful. Ugh.
That was
was
like, at the
another
end of the
thing.
movie, like
I
when
do think that
Randy's about to do like the final like charge at the
Mhm.
at Moses and his
At,
people, like
the
he's
Hebrews,
just
yeah.
like wearing blue armor.
in
So
almost every
Mhm.
instance, like whenever they were
I
together,
think even though like we talked
feel
about the music a lot, I want to just talk about the visuals. Like this was a good looking movie. I will give
Mm.
them that. Like the thing, I hear like artists and architecture say they don't like the work of ancient Egypt because it's all sand and desert, but they made it look beautiful. Like I'm kind of upset that I didn't get to watch this on my TV. I had to watch it on my Hulu subscription on my computer, so wasn't like it wasn't the best way. But even when I was watching it through the computer, I was like, wow, this is really good. Like when they do the the ocean wall thing near the "Let My People Free" thing near the end. Like I thought that looks way better than the 56 Ten Commandments. I was like, wow, I wish I was watching this on my full screen TV right now.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Like, I
no,
just wish.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, the animation for this movie was some of the best I've ever seen. And was this all hand drawn, by the way?
Uh,
No, not
so
half.
some
Some of it.
parts were
Some of it.
CG.
Okay, yeah,
The
that makes sense.
hieroglyphic scene was CG animated. The carts, why am I forgetting the chariots? The chariots, that's the name.
Mhm.
Those were CG. The horses were hand drawn, of course.
Yeah.
And then a few other things were CG. I can't remember what,
Yeah, that does make
but
sense. That would explain why the animation is that crisp because I was actually asking myself, wait a second, is this all hand drawn? If this is all hand drawn, this is fucking amazing.
By the late '90s, they were starting to incorporate more CG into hand drawn animation. Like
Yeah.
you see it in like Disney movies like The Hunchback and Pocahontas. Like, you can
Yeah.
even see it in if you watch like Princess Mononoke. You can see the CG stuff going
one
in.
of the biggest movies for the CG stuff that you can see is Treasure Planet. That movie
Oh yeah, Treasure Planet.
really
Yeah.
well. It does the CG with the hand drawn really well. But I think the movie would have been bad if they had any more CG because it was already so perfectly blended. I don't yeah.
Yeah.
I like the thing that I do like about the Disney and DreamWorks, like how you can tell them differently is through the character design.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Just like because Disney has such a recognizable character design, and DreamWorks, like the eyes are a little less, are a little more wider.
Yeah.
The face are more angular and stuff like, except for rounder like Disney. Thought that was like such a real cool distinction between those.
Well, then again, you also have DreamWorks actually making realistic body types instead of
Right.
idealistic body types.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, like,
Yeah.
yeah, because like even like the woman that Moses follows, like she doesn't like
Her waist
look,
is actually the width of the waist that allows her to breathe instead of just a tiny little twig.
yeah, and like she looks like pretty and all this, but they don't make her look like a supermodel. And
Yeah.
neither does like Moses. They don't make them look like supermodels. And like they wouldn't. They're slaves. And
Hmm.
the other thing I want to talk about is just like the fact that this movie was like did not shy away from like the brutality of like slavery. Like they still like showed people getting whipped.
No,
They showed
it did not.
scars,
Yeah.
and
I mean-
they even showed children getting killed. Which again, like this was a kids movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'll never see anything like that today. Like you'll never
Oh
see
no.
a kids movie
Never.
touching something like that ever again. Like,
Never.
Well, all we get in modern kids movies is just fart jokes every 3 seconds, which is very painful to sit through.
I mean, no, like you can like the Egyptian people look like Egyptian because if you watch like the Ten Commandments and Cleopatra, even though those movies are from the 50s and 60s, like that's still white people playing Egyptian.
Hmm.
So at least like when I was looking at that, wow, I was like, oh wow, like these people look Egyptian.
Hmm.
One
They-
issue I did have with the movie was that, he was what age? Like 18, 16 or something when he found out that he was
Like,
Hebrew.
Another thing is, I think this is just like a little nitpick. It's the beginning when Moses is being is going down the Nile, like when he's being attacked by, and he's almost getting eaten by an alligator, or like he's about to get hit by a boat, and I was like thinking, I was just thinking I never thought about that in Ten Commandments or the Book of Exodus. Like, what did he get? Like, I never thought of that. Like, what if he gets eaten by a crocodile? Like, going down the river.
Oh my god.
What? Like, what is the hippo ate him?
Well, what?
no, I think the
movie-
movie that scene though, like basically the reason why he doesn't get eaten is because God is like basically
yeah.
protecting him from all the animals basically.
Which is
And
Like,
they're
cool.
that's
also
the whole reason
vegetarian.
he came up to like really to protect the baby from the alligators.
The other thing I wanted to say is like, it may be like my least favorite part of the movie is the voice acting.
Really?
The
I
voice
had no
acting-
problem
I
with the
had no
voice
problem
acting.
with the
Wait,
voice acting.
voice acting is not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just that because I can tell who is who, I felt like that was kind of distracting.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Oh,
I can
okay,
tell.
yeah.
I can tell that's Val Kilmer. This was probably like the last good thing Val Kilmer was in. I could tell that's supposed to be Jeff Goldblum. I could tell that's supposed to be Martin Short. It was just like, it's not bad. It just takes me out of it because I know who's exactly.
I kind of wish they wouldn't have had Jeff Goldblum, honestly, because it is very distracting. It kind of makes you disconnect from what's happening in that moment. With what were you? Oh my God, words! What you were saying about not being able to tell who was speaking? I feel like I only had a problem with that during Let My People Go, because there is a point where you can't tell if it's Ramses or Moses singing.
Yeah.
But you figure out really quick because the visuals on screen are blue when Ramses is singing and it's focused on him. So at least they kind of do that. But the voice actors for Ramses and Moses are very similar.
They do sound a
No, I
little
was
too
just
samey.
I know. No, I mean I was just saying because I know which actor because they were like big actors at the moment. Like I know which actor.
Yeah. But then again, they only had 3 big actors, really. Everyone else was just... I thought every other voice actor besides Jeff Goldblum was perfect.
I can.
The acting was amazing too. Like, there wasn't a moment I thought, oh, they're just people talking in a booth, except for Jeff Goldblum's lines.
Yeah.
I just thought, this is Moses speaking, or this is Ramsey speaking, or this is Miriam speaking. I never thought, oh yeah, they're just recording. This isn't the character. It's just a voiceover.
Well, I can definitely see where X-Man is coming from, even though I somewhat disagree with him, because now, as someone who is well versed in terms of and now I don't keep up with a lot of celebrity actors, really, but as someone who does, I can see where he's coming from, because one thing that a lot of people, and what happens, like X said, is it tends to be a little bit distracting because it could take you out of that character and you're thinking about the voice actor rather than the character. So I definitely see where you're coming from.
You told me that was Michelle Pfeiffer voicing in one of the main roles. I'd be like, yeah, no shit. Like, I can see that. But
yeah. Oh my
like,
god.
Like one of my few pet peeves. Did not like the priest for them. Hated those characters.
Patrick Stewart, he was playing the Pharaoh.
Took me out of it. Like I said, their song wasn't. It started off amazing, and then it just was like, and I wasn't really. I didn't really had it in me today to listen to Martin Short sing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think that's the weakest song in the movie.
I would have to agree.
Like I like the visuals in that scene. I like what they're trying to say. Like they're trying to say like our God is superior.
Yes.
Like Ra is stronger.
It was kind of like they were kind of throwing shots at the Egyptian gods though. They were just like, the Egyptian gods just do not work here. Like they're non-existent.
Yeah, no, they literally like
was just
like
God.
Ra is like not strong, is not a powerful god or whatever. Which man, like I'm not gonna lie, like as a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, that kind of hit a little bit.
One thing I did really like, they never explicitly said that this is the only god. They never said, oh yeah, the Egyptian gods don't exist. They kind of just hinted that they don't care or they don't exist. They also, I really love how God's voice isn't just a man speaking. It is a woman's voice and a man at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So you hear like the woman's voice echo. I don't know. I just think it's really cool.
Honestly, what I heard is, I didn't just hear, it's not even that I heard a man and a woman. I just heard, like, what I heard, like, did God have, like, more than one voice? Because I heard multiple voices in there.
There
in
were
the echo.
I think there were at most 4 voices, but I think it was just 2. But even then, I think it's perfect to have it be more than one voice. 'Cause then they did such a good job avoiding preaching Christianity and stuff. Such a good job. And I love how they don't rub it in your face that the 10 Commandments are a thing. They don't tell you what the 10 Commandments are, because everyone knows them.
I mean, it doesn't show up till like the very end.
And
they don't rub it in your face. They just show you the tablets, and if you know what they are, then you get it.
Now that we're on that, I really want to talk about that. So the first time I watched, the first time I watched the movie, I was like, oh wow, cool, it's the 10 Commandments. The second time over, I realized, like, so basically, that entire scene where Moses is walking to the edge of the mountain, that entire scene, there is not a single word spoken, and it is done beautifully. Like you all said, they do a fantastic job at showing you the tablets and showing you that Moses, has the 10 Commandments. But what they also didn't do is they didn't go through the motions of God preaching him the 10 Commandments, because they knew that they don't need to tell the 10 Commandments, because not only does everyone know them already, but no one wants to hear them, and they know this. What they're trying
Well-
to do, they're leaving religion out of it. They just want to tell you a really good story, and that's why I love the fact that not a single word was spoken in that scene.
Well, the thing about the preaching religion is because how I say it, it's like it's not exactly a story of religion of
Mhm.
faith.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah. That
You
makes
gotta-
sense.
It does make
gotta-
sense.
Like more,
you gotta-
like I think it's a story more about like. So I feel like this is what they're trying to say. It's more about like. It's more about the spirituality aspect,
Yeah.
not the actual like religion aspect. I feel like this is like
Yeah.
more. Like it's
Because-
trying to like basically like throughout the majority of the film, like the whole God aspect. It's like more about like your own like belief and in spirituality, not necessarily because like nowadays like the way like religion's treated, it's treated more like a gathering, almost. I don't want to like be controversial, but like almost like cult like basically like where
That's exactly what it
where
is.
they're basically like wanting
Yeah.
like oh you have to like obey God like that wasn't the message they're trying to push. They're trying to push like that God is like a spirit and he wants to. And
Mhm.
Moses and the Hebrew, they just want to be free. Like their whole goal is they want to be free and they want something to believe in.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is also is that because this is also not because remember the Bible is split up in two different parts. So
Yes.
there's the Old Testament and the New Testament, and
Yes.
this is an Old
Mhm.
Testament story. So this is also the beginning. It's not even Christianity yet. It's also just like the beginning of this.
Yeah, like I feel like this is like I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing this is like pre like religion, like
It's
pre
the-
like
it's-
Sort of pre-religion, because
It's the Old Testament story. This is before
Judaism
Christ.
was a thing. I don't
Yeah.
think they called it Judaism yet.
no.
But like the thing with religion, they handled it so well in this movie, and it's a movie that can so easily be turned into obey God or die. But when you see Ramses being punished for holding these slaves, you don't think, oh, it's because he doesn't believe in God. You think it's because he's continuing to hold on to his pride and not
Mm-hmm.
let the
Right.
people go.
Like
You don't think, oh, I have to obey God, I have to fear God. Oh no, Sky Daddy, don't hurt me. You you don't think that. Like watching this movie, the only time you really hear God is when God is introduced, when
Mhm.
Ramses is like saying their God isn't real, or when someone's praying to God. And that's
Yeah.
like it happens 4 times in the whole movie, 4 or 5
Yeah,
times.
and how many
And-
times do they even say the word God in that movie?
Not that much,
Yeah.
actually.
Well, that's because God is introduced halfway. But speaking of
Mhm.
that scene, the burning bush scene, I think that's the best scene in the whole movie.
Oh, that
Mhm.
Yeah.
whole scene is just chills the entire way.
Yeah.
The cinematography is so good. Just the colors, it's so beautiful.
I think
One thing
that's
I did actually just realize, the bush is burning purple. So
yeah.
instead of it burning blue or red, it's burning the combination of blue and red. And blue is the color for Egypt, and red is the color for the Hebrews.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I
think the
think
music.
that is beautiful.
I think the music is at its A1. Is at its A+ went during that scene. I think that's when the music is A1. Like not the like the instrumentals of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad they didn't give God a song. Like,
Yeah. Oh
thank
my
you,
God.
movie, for not making God sing about being God. Thank you so
Mm.
much. It would have been so bad. It would have made the whole movie bad, in my opinion. On the topic of that scene as well, I love how you don't hear Moses explaining what we just saw. It's just silent, and you hear him pantomiming as you hear the music rise in the background. It's so well done. Instead of, because I feel like if we would have heard him re-explain to Zipporah what he just saw, it would have devalued the scene before, where he just met with God, he met with something so powerful, we would have lost like the emotion of the tear falling from his face as he realized that
That was powerful, by the
he
way.
has purpose.
The tear
Mhm.
Yeah,
falling
that
from his
thing.
face, that was really
As
powerful.
it's just
And this is gonna be like my last comment about the Ten Commandments. So, like I said, I was so genuinely surprised how little it didn't take from the Charlton Heston movie. Like I only found like a few reference to it, like when the part where the Jews are leaving out of Egypt. Like that's I can tell that's the only part where they got from the Heston film. Like
Mhm.
I mean the only reason why Ramesses is called Ramesses from the Charlton Heston movie because like the Pharaoh doesn't have the name a name in the Book of Exodus. I thought that was so cool that they had like their own interpretation on the story
Mhm.
than from another movie. Because like I said, like the Ten Commandments was it's probably the most famous interpretation of the Book of Exodus.
Mhm.
Moses doesn't get
Um
white hair after he meets God, so
Moses was like, he was definitely an older teen. He was probably like 16 to 18 when he found out that he was Hebrew. And up until then, since the time he was a baby, he was taken in by the Pharaoh's family. They made him a prince. They treated him very well. And he just had this arrogance to him the entire time, whether he was talking to other slaves or, people who were Egyptian, basically anyone that wasn't the pharaoh, who was the only person that he was like, oh, it's my fault, took any responsibility for and was humble towards. Everyone else he was arrogant to. And up until those years where he was a later teen, he was totally fine with slavery. He was totally fine with the Hebrews being enslaved up until the point where he finds out he's one as well.
Yeah.
And
mhm.
the entire time I was thinking, oh, well, let's say what happens if there was like, a Jew during the Holocaust that was taken in by a nice German family and they really, were fine with everything going on around them up until they find out, as a later teen that they too are, part of an oppressed peoples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. In
No,
that,
I will say I think like some of like the development pacing. Now, again, I don't know I haven't read the actual the actual Bible story of Moses, but like I don't
in
know. So I don't know if there's like a development cycle in the actual story, but like I
well,
will admit, yeah, it does feel kind of like rushed, like how he suddenly has a change of heart. And another thing I actually is that like when he's like basically on exile, like when he exiles himself and
Mhm.
goes on the desert and then like eventually gets found by these other people, like he kind of adapts like really quickly. Like normally in these kind of stories, like the people who fell from like royalty, like they struggle to like actually to actually like become part of the normal life because it's so different and they don't have their luxuries anymore.
well, in the in the Book of Exodus, Moses actually knew he was Jewish the whole time, like from when he was a baby. It doesn't make any sense, but when he was a baby, he knew he was Jewish.
I actually had no idea of that, and
Wow.
Yeah,
wow, that's some plot
Wow.
convenience right there.
yeah, and it's
Damn.
just like, well, if you knew that the whole time, why did you wait 18 years later? But like,
All right,
Mm.
so I'm gonna really quick. I am gonna have to disagree with you a little bit, Phantom. I didn't think the pacing of him. It yes, it did go fast. Um, but they had a small budget for this movie. They couldn't have really. They had a time limit. They couldn't make the movie any longer than they had. Um,
I mean,
but I like how it didn't just come out of nowhere because you do see him have some remorse after he drops Zipporah in the water and he looks back to his mother and he realizes his mother was looking down on this with
right.
shame and that kind of made him think to himself, huh, this is kind of bad. I'm gonna stop.
I mean, yeah, and compared to this movie's only like an hour and a half compared to like the 4 hour Ten Commandments. So
Yeah.
like,
Well, it's
Four
technically just an
hours.
hour and 20 minutes because, like, you don't. like including the credits, it's an hour and 38 minutes.
Yeah.
But
So it's
the
like an hour
credits
and
are
20 minutes, yeah.
yeah, it's about an hour and 25 minutes ish. It's amazing that they told the story so well and the pacing was so good with that little time.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
going back to what you said, Phantom, about the pacing, I'm going to disagree with you, but I don't think it has anything to do with the budget, really. Honestly, now, first of all, when he adapted to those other people, the reason why there was a bit of a time gap,
Mhm.
between when he found those people and when he
Right.
started to adapt. So I
Right.
honest, uh,
No, go ahead. No, I was agreeing
oh,
with you. Go ahead.
yeah. But yeah, there's a bit of a there's a time gap between when he finds the people and when he and when he starts to get used to them and when he gets married to that girl. And another thing, honestly, with the short amount of time that they had and Moses like not being okay with slavery, I think it was actually very well developed with that short amount of time that they had. Yes, it was fast, but I didn't think it was rushed. I didn't think anything about this movie was rushed, honestly.
Well,
I think you can
again,
see
I
it
was
in
just saying
Moses'
like
face.
basically he's son like okay, it was mainly like not with the slavery part, but mainly like the like adapting to his new life part that I thought was a little bit like a bit too fast because again like he basically wanders to like the sheep lake or whatever or like where the camels are. He
Hmm.
sees the the kids having trouble. He without even knowing who like like who like which person's in the right. He knocks down the he like knocks down the camels or whatever,
Yeah.
and then like falls to the well. But then like shortly afterwards, like he gets like like shortly afterwards, even though like at first the woman that that ran away, like at first she doesn't like him, but then like almost like instantly like it's kind of like almost like in the next scene he's like cool with the people basically.
Oh,
I
I.
wouldn't say instantly. Honestly, that was just her getting back at him dropping her in the water.
Yeah.
But she's
Well,
still
yeah.
grateful because she would be dead without him.
Without him, yeah.
She
Right.
would have
Okay.
literally been decapitated.
That is a good point, Ray. That's a very good point. I was
Yeah.
actually about to agree with Phantom there, but you made a good point there. I don't know why I
Yeah.
forgot that. I don't know why I forgot that he saved her life. I don't know how I forgot about that.
Well, no, I knew that he saved her life.
Sophora's
Like, I knew
character
that.
too.
Huh?
But sorry.
Sorry. So I was gonna say like I know that he saved her life, and yeah, it was in a way just like get back, but like it wasn't necessarily like just with her, but like also like just the fact that like he was able to adapt so quickly to the new life. Like
You
I don't know.
also have to
It's
keep
like
in
with most
mind
stories, like they were kind
the
of like
so
it's like
the
the
song
part of the development is
Through
like kids
Heaven's
kind of just like
Eyes.
learning to
Hold
adapt.
hold
So
on.
I know what you're saying. I know it feels like it was fast, but the song Look at Your Life Through Heaven's Eyes, it doesn't take place over 3 days or something. We're looking at like a 10-year span of life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song is like over about 10 years. So it's not just, oh, I dropped you in water, I don't like you, and then the next day we're married. That's not
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah,
It was years of them getting together.
it was a
So,
10 it was a large time skip, so that's the reason why I excuse it.
Yeah.
yeah.
What I also think is, prior to him leaving, he does kill the Egyptian guy who was like whipping people, but his brother, he overlooks it. He's like, oh, it's fine, I'll take care of it. I'll fix it. I'll make sure, no one says anything. You'll get pardoned. And then Moses is like, I killed a man. This is not okay. But
Mhm.
he's like, his brother's like, I am Pharaoh. I am the moon. I am the sun. That's just like one mortal man that died. And then even when Moses comes back, his brother still loves him. He welcomes him back with open arms, and then he pardons him immediately. So you really do see that familial bond between the two, which I really like.
Hmm.
I really love the movie would not work the same if they wouldn't have had Ramses be emotionally connected to Moses. If Ramses had hated Moses from the start, then the movie would not be as impactful. It wouldn't have meaning.
That's
It
how
would
it was.
just
And
be
Ramses would
pointless.
also be nowhere near as good of a character.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's what I was saying about the Ten Commandments, because that's why I felt story wise this movie was a little stronger, because they actually do develop that Moses and Ramesses are brothers. In the Ten Commandments, like, they kind of forgot that detail, so
Yeah.
Ramesses was almost a straight up villain from the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I just like for me, my last thing about the movie is yeah, I just want to say I did really like it. I don't know if this is exactly my favorite animated movie.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite animated movie, but I still hold on to the belief that it's the best animated movie ever made.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
I mean, like, I definitely liked it. I don't know if I totally loved it, because to me, because I know the Book of Exodus from heart, like, even from this movie and the Ten Commandments, it's just not my favorite story told from the Bible. But I like the effort they put into it. I like the look. I like the design. I like this new interpretation of the Book of Exodus. So I think I
Mhm.
would, to me, I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5.
I'm
Yeah.
giving it a 4.5.
Mm.
I'd give it probably 3.75.
Yeah, probably like 3.5 for me.
I'm gonna give it a 4.9, and no one is shocked because I've already stated how much I
Yeah.
love
I do want to go over one thing before we
Mm.
leave. Let's also keep in mind the budget. I'm gonna say a bunch of animated or films in general, actually,
Mhm.
and their budgets. So for Prince of Egypt, they had a budget of $60 million,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and Lion King had a budget of $45 million. The Road to El Dorado had a budget of $95 million. Tarzan had a budget of $130 million. So they had an enormous amount of money to
Oh
work with.
wow.
I mean,
Damn.
But there are two movies. Mulan had a budget of $90 million. But if you consider the next two movies I'm about to say, I think that they are probably some of the best per budget and how much they cost.
mm,
Little Mermaid, that whole movie was made with only $40 million, and Beauty and the
Oh,
Beast was made with only $20 million. So
Whoa.
I understand that they're probably years apart, but just based upon the budgets that they had for all these different movies.
you also have to account for inflation, yeah, because it was quite a few years apart.
Yeah, I mean, 16 million. That's a lot, but with all the
Mhm.
technology changing and everything.
Yeah.
and remember, this was done by the petty asshole Jeffrey Katzenberg when in the early days of DreamWorks. So
Yeah.
until he realized he can just make Trek as his last middle finger to Disney.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So does anyone else have any last thing about the movie?
Um.
Final thoughts for me. I love how this movie. It's you may think, oh, it's just a Christian movie. I'm not gonna watch it. It's boring. But no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, you don't have to be Jewish to know what's going on. You don't have to be Christian to know what's going on. You don't have to be Egyptian to know what's going on. This movie
Is banned in
doesn't
Egypt.
just yeah,
Mm.
it's it it doesn't hold the audience back. It makes sure to balance out showing and telling perfectly. Um, and I just think it's overall an amazing movie. The story is good, the characters are amazing, and I just wish DreamWorks would keep making amazing movies like this, but now that they are owned by Universal, I don't know if we're gonna get that.
Yeah, take it from me. I kind of went in with that mindset a little bit of, okay, so this is just going to be a Christian movie. But wait a minute, okay, I'm a little confused. This doesn't seem like the type of movie Ray would like. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I can see why Ray loves this movie.
Yeah.
And nothing more appropriate than letting Ray give us the final word. So can I give our audience the marching orders?
Yeah.
All right, 97ers. This is X-Man. This is X-Man.
Phantom Magic.
Rand Proxy signing off.
Reaper.
And
Eh,
I want to thank our oh yeah, oh
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I wasn't expecting you to do like the same format from the start, but you know, it's
yeah, I'm
fine.
sorry. And
Don't
I want to thank our
apologize. We're good.
I want to thank our guest. I want to thank our guest this week for coming on.
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
No problem, Ray. So, 97ers, like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell when there's a new video up. See you guys next week.
See you later, everyone.
All right, see ya.